What's up, guys? Welcome to VHB Engines. So, first off, this schedule's a little gay. So it's gonna be kind of hard for me to keep up with it. Do I wake up early in the fucking morning and make a video before I go to work? Do I fucking wait till I get out from work, take my sweet time, and then fucking upload the video technically the day after I said I was going to? These are questions that I need to answer, and I'm not 100% sure yet. Also, I guess some of you guys out there are doing me a solid and asking me some questions and making me redo videos 2 times in a row now that for subjects that I already talked about. You know, and some of you guys are hitting me up talking about I watch all your videos and asking me the same questions that I've already put out clearly. If not, I don't have that many videos, guys. And every time you ask me a turbo question, I have a playlist for turbo questions. Whole playlist by itself. And it says, let me see. I'm gonna go read exactly what it says. We'll even look at it. We'll look at it together. See if I can focus. There it is. Beginner's Guide to Turbo Builds. I know that's backwards. That's why I helped you out and read it for you. Now, I appreciate the questions, for making me make videos and all that stuff, and I like to be able to help you guys out. But in that Beginner's Guide to Turbo Builds, the very first video is how much power stock. And if you go in that very first video and you click on it, it has all these little timestamps, and at the 4-minute mark it says Turbo Talk, and I talk about turbos there. And I watched it a whole bunch of times because there's a whole bunch of times you guys have asked me about turbos, and I wanted to be sure that I wasn't fucking up. And I did talk about it. But I will admit that some of the questions I've been getting about turbos do warrant a quick go over, to be a little bit more specific, because I was kind of talking out of my ass, and I was talking with the assumption that you guys watching this have an idea already about what I'm talking about. And I guess that's a little bit, as much as easy. It's still a learning process for me to be able to teach properly. And I am always assuming that you guys have a little bit of understanding, even without maybe knowing the details. And maybe that's me assuming too much. And of course, I want to be inclusive to all you guys who are asking really newbie questions. You just got to bear with me, because it's a little frustrating for me still to be able to go. I mean, I want to break it down to make things easy for you, but this channel isn't really meant to baby step somebody who has absolutely no knowledge. If you're one of those guys that has absolutely no knowledge, it's just a little bit more difficult for me to slow myself down enough to talk to you guys properly. And I am far from a fucking turbo guru expert. Now, with that being said, though, I still have an understanding of what turbos to look at and for what power. And it really isn't that hard to come across. Just a quick little look on eBay for different turbos sizes, and you'll see in the description or how much they are. And if you have any kind of idea what you're looking at anyway. Jesus Christ. Let me just get to the description. Okay, so in the other video I said that that one frustrating thing is for people who inbox me about turbos. What turbo should I get? I want to run this much PSI. First off, your PSI means nothing. What you will look at is the volume capabilities of the turbo, the size of the turbo. Turbos are different sizes. That means they have different size fans, fan blades, or propeller blades, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. The smaller the blade, the less air it can push. So to force more air, you need to spin it higher. And spin it harder. The higher you take the turbo, the more strain you put on it, the more of the lifespan you're taking away from it. Because just like a stock engine build can handle so much power stock, your turbo can only handle so much power before it starts to wear. So just because you can boost your GT25, push 20 psi through it, doesn't mean it's going to last as long as a GT40 pushing 20 psi. And it also means too that the psi you 14 or whatever the fuck psi you run through you run through the smaller turbo isn't going to give you the same amount of power as it's going to give you from a larger turbo. It's one of those common sense things, guys. So when you're looking at, I want to boost a low boost, it doesn't fucking matter if it's a low boost. It depends on the size of your fucking turbo. All right, so for choosing the size of your fucking turbo, what you want to go with, you need to know a couple things. You have to have a couple things in mind. And the most important fucking factor of this choice here is knowing how much power you want to make. All right, and then the second thing would be where are you going to drive this turbo? Where are you going to drive this turbo car at? What's its purpose? What kind of response you want from it? Now, then you got to pick your horsepower per size ratio here to find out what it is. And I know that everybody's fucking, I can't drive a big turbo because I don't want it to lag. Well, shut up with that shit. If you want to make fucking big power, you need a big fucking turbo. You can't use a little fucking turbo and make big fucking power. So you have to choose whether you want something that's going to be instantaneous and small, or you want big fucking power. There's a reason why all of these factory turbo cars come with turbos that are like this fucking big, because it gives really good response in the streets. It makes for a good daily driver. But those guys that have those factory turbo cars realize real quick that they, big turbo injectors upgrade, big power. That little tiny turbo isn't going to make much isn't going to make much power increase without blowing it the fuck up. All right. So if you want a super responsive turbo, then you're looking at super low power. All right, you get something really small. I'm just gonna go through here, and these turbos, the power limits are general speaking here. Different brands are rated at different powers, but generally speaking, this is what you're looking at. A 25R, a GT 25R turbo is about yay big. It's about the same size as you'll get off a factory turbo car. Those turbos are generally capable of high 200 horsepower. Then they're maxed out, but they're really fucking small. Right? You don't really want to buy that. The next step up from that is a 28R. The 28R is also really fucking small, but it's definitely bigger than the 25. The 28R, you're looking at 350 something around that horsepower range. GT30R is definitely a good size turbo, but still small on the smaller side. If you're comparing it to a big turbo, it's still on the smaller side. That'll get you 400 horsepower, possibly 500, depending on the engine, because displacement matters. The more displacement your engine has, the more volume it can push. So a GT30R won't perform the same on a D series as it will on a B series. Like say if you put a B18, B20, it's going to perform better than if you did it on a 1.6 75 millimeter bore having single cam. All right. Then you have your GT35R, which is usually my turbo of choice because it'll get you 500 horsepower. If you use a GT30R, and depending on your engine you use, you might be taxing it to push it past 400. You have to run high boost. The higher boost you run, the more wear on the turbo. So if you run a GT35R, you can easily get in that 400 or 500 horsepower bracket without having to strain the turbo. And I've always used it, well, not always. My very first setup was probably a 30R, but I moved up to a 35, and I've always stayed with 35 since I've started doing my own turbo builds. And then after that, you're looking at a GT40, and the GT40 is supposed to be up to about 700 horsepower, right? Again, depending on what brand you get. I'm not going to go anything beyond that because that's just out of my level of knowledge there, and because I don't really look at it too much. So you're looking at 700 horsepower in a Civic, which I may want to do one day, but you're looking at potential single-digit passes. That's not generally the power range I like to play with. All right. So let's see if I can recap here, because that's pretty much really all it is into it. Yeah, you're looking for a responsive turbo that's super fast with immediate spool up. Then you're needing a smaller turbo to go with. But if you do that, you're restricting yourself on power. Generally speaking, I always recommend a 30 or 30R. If you're looking for 400 plus horsepower, to get a 35R. If you're looking at 300 and something to 400, low 400s, to get a 30R, it'll be a snappy, responsive engine. Or snappy responsive turbo for what you're looking for. Alright. I guess this is good timing here. My fucking phone is telling me it's almost dead. Yeah, so if use this, I'm going to leave in the cards a link to the other video, that how much power stock, but you can go into that 4-minute mark on there and listen to what I said about turbos and use that as a companion to this video. But that's it, guys. I'm not going to do any more turbo talk. If you fucking inbox me asking me about turbo sizes or what turbo you should fucking use, I'm going to get a redirect to this one. And I don't care if you've already watched it 30 times, I'm not going to answer any more questions on turbos. That's it. If you want different opinions on different brands, choose your own, because I always choose cheap. That's always my motto. Everything I go with, unless I'm trying to build a fucking race car, for real race car, 500 plus horsepower, everything I use is cheap. Use whatever brand you want, whatever you think that you want to go with. Cheap is the answer you're gonna get from me. Any turbo questions, this is what it's gonna be. And that's it, guys. I think the next video will probably be H2B, or the next discussion video, which will be next week, will be H2B. This weekend, guys, you should be seeing, I have all my suspension and shit together. The weather's been pretty good. I'm going to see about putting my Integra back together so I can get it in my shop to start doing the turbo mock-up. I will be doing a bonus video sometime between now and Monday about the shirts. I have them, guys. I finally got the shirts in. I have a sticker to show you guys. If you look at my Instagram, if you look on Facebook, it's already there, so you can see it real quick. But I will do a follow-up video talking about shipping and all that shit. I'm not 100% ready to do that. And in that follow-up video this weekend, I also may be talking about shipping that fucking block, the B18 that I wrapped up recently. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. And if you're new to the fucking channel, click on VHP Engines below. Go through and look at all my playlists. There's like 5 or 6 of them, guys. It'll take you 30 seconds to scroll through. And I don't have that many videos. A little over 100, and like 20 some of those are news videos. So if you go through the fucking the shop talk, the engine builds, and the fucking beginner's guide for turbo, generally speaking, all your questions are answered there. Look through my playlist first, and then if you feel like you need something else, feel free to inbox me. You'll also find all my social media in the links below. I use Facebook for daily updates and news for the channel. Instagram is where I put, of course, all my pictures from projects that I'm doing. Twitter and Snapchat. I also do 1 to 2 minute video updates for things that I need to tell you guys that I may forget to include in the regular videos, or that just a quick update. I don't follow anybody on social media, generally speaking, but anybody who has me on Snapchat gets a follow back from me. And if you find anything helpful from the channel, I hope you sub and you stick around, and make sure you click that bell to get the notifications. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for your time, guys, and peace.